Um, Today, we are going to discuss about the recent technologies and brief and the review of the automation since late like 90s through the uh, 2010s. Also, we are going to review the some of the product that can be useful to the Fireflies team. So we have Neha Sharma is one of the our new team members in Fireflies. Hi Neha.
Hi, Alan.
Um, I'm happy to have you to talk about this discussion. Uh,
Okay.
so let's get started. So Neha Sharma, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, yeah. Hi, my name is Neha Sharma. I have 8 years of experience in this IT industry with 7 years of experience in automation testing. I have basically worked with tools like TestComplete and Selenium and JMeter for my projects. In domain wise, I have worked for financial domain and education domain and medical domain, and lastly I'm currently working in gaming domain. We have I'm using test complete for like last 7 years continuously. Uh, uh, this tool is like I think I have used much more than Selenium. So Selenium I worked for 3 years. So we worked we in our project known as financial engines. We automated more than 10,000 test cases using test complete. And then due to client's requirement of moving from a paid tool to open source tool, so we moved our automation to Selenium. So it took us 2 years to migrate whole of the test complete suites. There were more than 650 test suites. We migrated all the test suites from test complete to Selenium, and we used Selenium and Java combination to automate our test cases. Then my next project was like ThinkGate. So it was basically an education domain, and uh, I use TestComplete to automate their smoke test and some regression test. We use the TestComplete with the VB script to automate the test cases in that project. And as I was a single resource in that project, so for the first time, I created whole framework for that project. So. Uh, I have worked on two types of framework. One is for test complete is one is hybrid framework. Uh, we define some functions, some common functions for everything, like getting data from Excel or getting configuration values from Excel, getting test data from Notepad or some other file, and then writing functions to validate the test cases. This was the model I was using in my first project. Then uh, in the ThinkGate project, which I was talking, like I created a framework there. There was a more streamlined approach. There were different folders for different functionalities. So there was a folder for objects. So objects were placed in XML file. The object information, the configuration information was placed in an Excel file. The test data, it was placed in an Excel file, test data and the test cases. And then we wrote the framework around these entities so that we can achieve the desired outputs and produce the reports. Uh, in Selenium, when we worked, we used page object model approach.
Let's discuss about in the technical detail later on. So
Okay.
yeah, you have a bunch of experience which might be very helpful to Firefly's team. So like I'm really again happy to have you in our team, and your asset and technical asset is going to be great help and very helpful and like robust. Uh, let our solution get much more robust. That's I don't no doubt about it. Um,
Thanks, Ellen.
no problem. And then so I got one question. So any reason why your previous solution that why you migrate the test complete to Selenium before? Any specific reason why?
Yeah, so Ellen, actually, our project was like 30 people were there in our project, 30 automation testers. So the team was big and the license cost was much. So test complete license it cost a lot. So
Oh,
we had 30 licenses. Means for each team member we had one license. So that is why our client said that he needs an open source tool to
oh,
automate his test
I got
cases.
it. So
Yeah,
team size is getting bigger. So
yeah,
test complete license, floating license is quite expensive. Then you need to kind of save money.
yes, yes,
Then Selenium also has a much more like the abundant API that can be customized to the web application. So that's the
yes,
why, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, that makes sense. So great. So um, but yeah. So Selenium is the framework that you have before, right? So
yes.
what do you think the benefits using the Selenium? The first number one is like the cost, um, reducing the cost. That's what you said. Any other thing that you have thought of the
Yeah,
open
so
source automation tool framework?
yeah, so Ellen, in Selenium, what I found was like there were many APIs. See, we can automate using Java language. So Java itself is very flexible. Okay, and plus we have much more APIs in Selenium than in Test Complete. So the coding effort is less, what I have seen.
Hmm. So less coding effort in addition
Hmm.
to the financial stuff and
Yes,
saving money.
yes, yes.
Could you introduce more about the more API that you talk about? For
Uh,
example, page object and have a lot of the API that we can handle, and what else we can think of.
yeah, so like uh, there were some instances when we were required to take pictures of the pages like we needed to compare pictures, so there is a built-in API for that in Selenium
Okay.
also. Yeah, so for arrays also, and there are APIs like list. Using list I can manipulate much better than using arrays in scripting languages. So basically my thought was that using Java and the combination of Selenium, it was working very good with all the teams. So what happened is like our team was new to Java and Selenium. So but as it had so many APIs, like we type something in our Eclipse IDE, and so we have so many built-in APIs that it is very easy for new automation testers also to automate many test cases. Whereas in scripting languages, we require the experience. There is more coding effort.
Gotcha. So basically, Java is an object-oriented language that can support the the characteristics of any OOP things like inheritance or like polymorphism or like the object oriented that kind of things are all the equipped with the Java. So Selenium can select a lot of the object oriented languages like Java, C Sharp, or whatever the object oriented things. So it's very open to any
Yes,
language. Then also it can support the many browser like basically IE, Firefox,
Mhm.
and Chrome.
Yes.
There's a like
Yes.
separate the API and drivers that we can use. Also, it can be open source, updated quite often. Then quality is getting better and better, right? So that's kind of benefit for using open source, the framework. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, plus I need to add one point here. Like TestComplete, it also provides cross-browser testing, but it's not so much flexible as we get in Selenium. So if we run our scripts, TestComplete scripts on IE11 and Firefox, then maybe there are some failures or means there will be some changes required. But in case of this Selenium, there is much flexibility with cross-browser testing also, and it's
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a very good API. Then we can utilize if we use Selenium. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So good to hear that. You're quite experienced and a lot of experience about utilizing the Selenium as a real industry project. So now, why don't you discuss about the history of the testing tools, like in terms of automation? So if you look at late 90s, Test Complete is a kind of very old tool. So it starts from the 1990. So we are using a very traditional tool, but we can say it's very stable since it's very old and then it's commercial tool. So we can say that. But there are still a lot of tools that we can look at. So Roadrunner is one of two. Is it a, performance tool? Um,
Yeah, it's a performance tool and plus it's a paid tool. So, yeah, load runner is basically used for performance testing, but nowadays, if you look, so as I said, it's a paid tool. So many of the companies they are replacing load runner with JMeter. So JMeter is also one of the performance testing tools, and it's been used extensively by many companies to track the performance of their websites or applications.
wow. So it's also the Java base.
Yeah, yeah. So JMeter is Java based. So you have to have Apache and Java installed on your computer to work
So
with that.
is it also the web-based tool?
Yes.
Great. So there are a lot of plugins maybe that uh, enrich the test report for the performances. Third-party tools also available for the JMeter, right? So that can be good performance tools we can utilize. Is it also the open source JMeter?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's an open source.
Wow, that's a great tool. So yeah, so good to know that. And hold on, I'm sorry. Let's go to the mid 2000s. This kind of like period that a lot of open source tools are in the market. So
Mhm.
Selenium is one of those. And any other thing that you wanna add comment on these tools on the mid 2000s?
Uh, No, Ellen, actually, I have worked extensively with Selenium, so it's like very flexible. So, what in my previous projects, what was the requirement is like they were looking for one framework which can be used with Selenium as well as Test Complete.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so the coding part will be same. So basically what we were doing is like we were creating DLL files, dynamic link libraries, and we were using them in our Selenium as well as Test Complete project. So yeah, there I learned one more thing. So how to incorporate DLL with Test Complete
Oh,
and
yeah.
use it in our scripts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Selenium combined with the test complete was the feasible scenario that we can combine together?
No, no, no. They can't be combined together, but we can develop scripts like they can be used by both Selenium and Test Complete.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you use your Selenium? What version have you used? 1.0, like 2.0, or
Two
what? Two
2.1,
two
2.1
point
and
one.
2.2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So
So
we use Selenium WebDriver for our automation. So I haven't used RC. RC was like uh,
1.0. Yeah.
yeah. RC was like
Yeah.
gone before 12. I started using Selenium from 2012. So
2012. Okay.
yeah. So there was already WebDriver in place. So we started with WebDriver.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
1.0 and 2.0 has a very big differences.
Yeah, they have very big differences. The main difference is like uh, there is the kind of interaction our Selenium has with the web browser. So in Selenium 1.0, the Selenium used to inject some APIs into the web browser, and then it used to control the browser through those APIs. But here in Selenium 2.0, like in WebDriver, it opens its own WebDriver and interacts with it directly. So we need not run the Selenium server always for Selenium WebDriver. But
Mm-hmm.
when we're using Selenium RC, then we used to run the Selenium server also.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
that's the difference.
yeah, much it's got easier for the
Yeah, it's got
developer
easier.
SDET and just getting the jar file and an API and use the
Yeah,
that library and just call it and
yeah, yeah.
including
So
the API. Yeah, great.
yes.
Let's go to 2010s. Then we have a bunch of tools still coming on based, along with the recent technologies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, could you add more comments about this?
Yeah, so I have heard about APM from my colleagues, like they were working with APM. So APM is basically like a tool to test the mobile apps. So it is basically used with iOS and also Android phones. So it uses Selenium APM driver to we can use Selenium also with APM to test the uh, iOS and Android devices. So it's basically a very good tool for mobile testing.
Mm-hmm. So, um, you can support both Android and iOS using
Yes, yes,
Selenium.
yes.
Okay.
I want to add one more comment here. So
Okay.
our test complete also supports mobile testing.
But we don't have licenses here.
Yeah, we don't have licenses, but it supports like iOS and Android both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mm.
if we like, in short term, in short, like if our solution include the mobile application, then we can buy additional license for the mobile support for the test complete. Then we can, support the validation for the mobile application, right? Yeah.
Yes.
But in open source perspective, the APM is one of the options that we can take if we have the framework for our solution edited by Selenium. Like it still use the the Selenium API though. So under that, based on that, and it uses the separate API, right?
Yes.
So you can still implement the APM using the open source like IDE tool, like just like Eclipse or whatever.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Great.
Yes, right.
So one of the things I can talk about is a protractor. It's a
Mm-hmm.
protractor is about like Google based um, automation tool which supports the dynamic web pages such as like AngularJS, which is used by the AMC's 3X here in VGT. So
Mm-hmm.
that can be a good tool that we can utilize. However, we already implemented the Fireworks framework for the AMC 3X using the XPath or like use XPath or whatever is supported by the test complete, then getting the fetching the object, then we already implemented the automic function, but no problem. But if you use a protractor, then it can be much more uh, robust and like customizable to like cope with the web dynamic web changes. So that can be
Okay.
one good tool for the also um, here in VGT solution. Um, so
So, Ellen, I have a question.
yes,
So, protector, it's used with Selenium, or it's a different tool, completely different.
um, it's nothing to do with Selenium.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, is a JavaScript based. Let me briefly explain about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. The protract protractortest.org is their official website that introduce the what their solution is. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, Protractor is a test framework for
Mm-hmm.
AngularJS application. It can
Mm-hmm.
support the static website, but they don't recommend to use Protractor as the static website validation. So
Okay.
it runs against the real browser. Also, it uses um, test like a user. So a lot of user actions are supported, just like a Selenium does.
Okay.
Also, the AngularJS support.
Mm-hmm.
So this is three things are their main their
Mm-hmm.
merit that they can provide to the SDET. So it's very
Okay.
simple.
Mm-hmm.
It user have you ever heard of the Node.js? It uses the Node.js. So
Mm-hmm.
npm install the Protractor. This command is good enough. Once you have a Node.js npm installer on your the workstation, then
Mm-hmm.
so it use a WebDriver manager update and WebDriver
Mm-hmm.
manager. So it separately uh, you need to run the web server, Node.js based web server needs to be
Mm-hmm.
run on the web
Okay.
on the workstation, and then
Mm-hmm.
almost look like a very intuitive um, command, just like a Selenium.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they use like sometimes a Jasmine, uh,
Mm-hmm.
the grammar. They use like annotation.
Mm-hmm.
So they also the JavaScript base.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So like conf.js JavaScript file is the execution file. You
Mm-hmm.
define the test cases here in the spec, and if you
Mm-hmm.
run the this command, then the
Mm-hmm.
test run automatic, just like a Selenium does.
Okay, yes, like annotations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it will show the command line, the report something like this.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
think this is the good area. Then we can research more later. I will try to research more, and then I'll keep discussing with you. Then how is going to be good fit for our AMC3X solution in the future.
Okay, yes. Yes, it's a good one. I think I can also install it on my machine.
Yeah, you better try that. It's
Yeah.
when you yeah, it's good to know like as a research R&D purposes.
Yes.
Yep. So um so what kinds of the automation technology will be good for, fit for VGT products? Like I said, the protector tractor is one of the option that we
Mm-hmm.
can take. Also,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, the Selenium is a very widely used tool, which is open
Mm-hmm.
source. Uh, if we want to save our costs in the future, if the team size is getting bigger, just like your previous experience, there's one of
Mm-hmm.
the good alternative that we can take later on, right?
Yes. Yes.
Also, we can sum the sub project, the sub solution. We might use that and utilize the Selenium or Protractor later on concurrently, since we have a license and test complete. So we
Mm-hmm.
might apply the some of the area uh, for the two tools that we have talked about, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. It's kind of very constructive and good discussion. How we are going to apply the very trendy one in the market regarding automation solutions and framework and tools.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you add more comment about it?
Yeah, so Ellen, today I saw in TestComplete 11 there is one icon for Selenium also. Means when we open it up, so I think we need to research on that. That what's the
Uh,
purpose of this? And
yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
good catch.
So it's yeah. So it's there, and I think we should research it further. So it's integration with Selenium, TestComplete, and integration with Selenium.
Yeah, that'd be great if they support the Selenium. Then we can use the Selenium API in our Fireworks framework and combine it together. That is going to be
Mm-hmm.
great if it's possible. I'm not
Yes,
sure it's a
definitely.
Java base, but we are using the C Sharp script base. Um, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
about that yet, so we can research more.
yeah. So I'm going to research on this and discuss it with you. So
Okay.
it's
All right.
there in Test Complete 11.
Yeah. Also, the regarding the protractor, these things are kind of the 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 merit and benefit
Mm-hmm.
for the
Mm-hmm.
protractor. So
Mm-hmm.
you can review it later on.
Mm-hmm.
It's recorded now, so you can stop the video and review. Maybe Tim
Mm-hmm.
can review this
Mm-hmm.
by pause button.
Yes. Yeah. So in this protector, I think one of the biggest benefit is like the automatic wait. So it was written that means like we put up explicit waits in test complete or in WebDrive Selenium also, like wait for 10 seconds or sleep. So it is mentioned in this protector that we need not worry about wait, cause it will execute the next action only if the first one is completed and the page is loaded successfully. So I
Exactly.
think that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's very good.
Sometimes headless mode. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a good talk, and I'm very happy to hear from you about your experience and the technology background, and then very constructive discussion about how we're gonna proceed further for the quality in Firefly's team. Also, we are pursuing the quality first catchphrase in the company. So we are the one of the like leader in the VGT and in the aristocrat that can make company better in terms of the quality first catchphrase, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very proud of our team's effort so far. Also, yourself, also the offshore team there, like in the
Mm-hmm.
India. So we can make progress, and let's get the quality better and work together in the future.
Yeah, yeah, sure, Alan.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing the time with me. Um, all right.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Okay, bye, Alan.
bye. See you.